Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Red Sea podcast. I am Statman Stubbs. This is Rivals Point of View, Manchester United versus Liverpool this Sunday, 4:30 p.m. kickoff. We're going to get into the head-to-head records, key battles, thoughts on the season so far, also thoughts on both managers and predictions. And obviously, if we've got time at the end, we'll do a little quiz. Before further ado, before we get into all that, let's roll with the intro.
Tell the world we are Liverpool, champions of England.
We've conquered all of Europe. We're never gonna stop. From Palestine to Turkey, we've won the fucking lot. Got Paisley and the Shankly, the fields of Anfield gold. We are unsupported, and we come from Liverpool.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Red Sea podcast. Like I say, I'm Statman Stubbs. This is Rivals Point of View, Manchester United Liverpool preview. Hope everyone's excited for this game as much as I am. We've got Thiago's father. First of all, how are you, mate?
Yeah, really, really good. For once, it is good not to be hosting. I am here as a guest. I haven't been a guest on the show for absolutely forever. As you can see, we are missing one. They will be joining us very shortly. But it's good. It's good to be here on my own channel as a guest. Crazy.
And as you can see at the bottom of the screen, we've got Usman Talks United. How are you, mate? Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Happy to be obviously representing the red side of Manchester, of course. Listen, it's the biggest derby in the world. Let's be real, and this is the big one, man. This is the big one. It means a lot to both fans. So I'm excited to get stuck into it.
Exactly. So the first thing that we're going to discuss is the head-to-head record, and then we'll just go back into the chat and say hello to a few people as well. But we'll just get straight on to the head-to-head record. So in the Premier League, there's been 179 matches. At Anfield, there's been 90 games. Liverpool have won 17. Manchester United 44, 29 draws. Massive difference there. At Old Trafford, 89 games. Liverpool have won 42. Manchester United 25. And there's been 22 draws. So contrasting games, the away teams seem to have the better of it. The last 5 fixtures was the 4-2 victory for Liverpool. Then it was 1-1. Then it was 0-0. Then 2-1 to Manchester United and 1-1. So 3 out of the last 5 games have been draws. So it's going to be a tight affair. Usman, first of all, surprised at them records so far?
Not really, to be honest. The last 5 years in particular, it's quite evident that Liverpool have been on an upward trajectory and Manchester United have been sinking. So that doesn't surprise me. What does surprise me that you left out that 3-2 loss, that Bruno Fernandes free kick. Obviously, that's not Premier League, but I have to hold on to any bit of happiness I've had lately. But yeah, no, it doesn't surprise me. Of course, as I mentioned, Klopp's coming, and he's turned you guys around really. Prior to Klopp's appointment, Liverpool were kind of languishing in not mid-table, but within that 5th and 6th spot, kind of pushing to the top 4. But Klopp has really made you guys that force that you currently are today. And for me personally, it's disappointing to see how you guys have overtaken the last couple of years in terms of the dominant force in England. So it's a big game for us on Sunday. Ollie has to get something out of it. I'm sure we'll get to that a bit later on. But yeah, in terms of the record, it doesn't surprise me at all, to be honest.
Okay. TF, are you surprised at that? It seems to be away victories in most occasions anyway. Or are you surprised at them sort of figures?
Yeah. To be honest, it is the biggest game, or previously has been the biggest game in world football. Liverpool Manchester United staple game in the staple fixture in the English game. But I just think to myself, in recent years, it's been Liverpool City. That's been the huge back-to-back, the Titanic clash, the one in the fixture calendar, which, if Liverpool fans are being very honest, we're looking at the United game going 3 points. We're looking at the City one going, Do you know what I mean? And that's no disrespect to Manchester United. I just feel, and I've said this in the past as well, the Premier League needs a fully functioning, competitive Manchester United. The Premier League needed a fully functioning, competitive Liverpool. Without Manchester United and Liverpool, the Premier League doesn't exist. Let's have it as it is. Without Man United and Liverpool, the Premier League does not exist. Yeah, everybody else in and around that are just moving pawns. Yeah, they are. Right. Mm-hmm. If Chelsea suddenly dropped off tomorrow, it'll be our Chelsea have dropped off. Manchester United have dropped off. That's blockbuster front page news. Manchester United are doing as good as they're supposed to be doing. Is the manager going to get sacked? Ollie in, Ollie out. The Glazers, the protests, the this, the that. It's huge. The same thing in terms of how Liverpool were in the wilderness for so long. Liverpool hadn't won a title for 30 years. That's blockbuster. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just think that this game is huge in terms of the context of the rivalry, but the shine has been taken off a little bit with the back and forth between Manchester City and Liverpool over the last 3-4 years. And now we've seen Chelsea emerge from the shadows as well and potentially put Manchester United down the pecking order again in terms of that rivalry.
Yeah, no, very true. Just going to the chat. Obviously, we've got a few people in here already. 1892 Reds podcast, LA. Hope you guys are well. Evening, lads. Just one United fan. No, there is Terry Fluids is going to be coming in shortly. But no, Usman's here at the moment, but Terry will be joining us very shortly. You can be a guest on our show tomorrow at 6 p.m. if you like for our preview, buddy. Is that for Usman or is that for me and Tiago? Let us know. Oh, yes.
He's the man himself.
Hiya, Terry.
Is he reinforcements has arrived. Let's go, Terry.
I'm still literally like licking the lips, like just finished the food, but I'm all good.
What was dinner saying? I hope it was worth it.
Legit, I'm on a protein thing, so I had grilled fish and half a chicken and salad. So yeah, I had a lot of protein. I'm trying to it's leg day today, so I need that protein. So yeah, yeah, all good.
Okay, good to have you here, man. Good to have you here.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and Chris has said here in the chat, draw written all over it for the game on Sunday. I'm looking forward to it. Next thing I just want to discuss is the key battles, what a game it's going to be on Sunday. Terry, I'll come to you first of all. Where do you think the key battles are going to be for this game?
It's going to be Ollie. The key battle is going to be Ollie picking the right lineup, really. I think that's how I see it. But no, like on a real level, I think normally when I come into these kind of games, my two trains of thought are, I look at this as a derby. I don't care we're not from the same city. It's the biggest derby in the country. It's normally a leveler. I also come into these games where everybody's predicting one team is going to lose, and it's sort of universal. It normally gives me like a gut feeling there could be a bit of a shock. It happened in the Euros. England will lose to Germany. I thought, no, we won't. So, Switzerland will get knocked out by France. It'll be easy. No, they didn't. I remember Arsenal-Chelsea, FA Cup final 2017. Everyone in their dog said Chelsea would smash them. They didn't. I ain't got that feeling. I haven't got it at all. And I think when I look at the key battles, it doesn't matter who plays left back. It's going to be Mo Salah against Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw's a good player. Mo Salah is going to have him on absolute toast. There is no doubt about it. He's going to destroy him with the way that he's playing. The midfield, though, your midfield against McFred, it's not even fair. It's not even fair. It's like putting Anthony Joshua in the ring with Amir Khan. Legitimately, you're going to smash through that jaw with a jab. I'm so honest to God, I don't even want to think about the key battles with respect because it scares me. And honestly, scares the living daylights out of me what you guys could do to us on Sunday. It is scary.
Yeah. TF, I'll come to you. Where do you see the key battles being this coming Sunday?
See, I think about it the other way, and I think that from a standpoint that United have got CR7, that is a leveler in itself. He's capable of the the craziest stuff. Last night being an example, Manchester United looked down and out. They looked down and out during that game and showed great determination, great character, great fight to come back to 2-2. And then who else could it be that pops up in the dying moments and just says, "Here, have that," another to his collection? And it was just a staple goal to say, never ever write us off. And that to me is a huge threat. When you've got just that presence that he brings on the pitch, the way he struts around, the way that he is as a player is huge. That's huge for Manchester United in terms of the confidence factor.
I think you're right in that. I mean, last night for me, the star was Bruno Fernandes, not just with the level of goals that he created. I mean, and they weren't just. In fairness, this is the irony of statistics. His assist for Maguire's goal was a lucky assist because, like, Cavani probably deserved it because the way he ducked out the way was clever. A bit like a player doing a dummy, but they don't get the assist for it. However, the plethora of chances, the way he pressed, the way he hurried is great. I think we'll score against you Sunday. And I know we're going to score. I don't have any issue because you are leaking goals. The problem is we're leaking even more. I see it being a high-scoring game. I see the likes of Bruno, Ronaldo, Rashi that's come back well. I can see them scoring against Liverpool. The problem is we're not like Chelsea. We're not like City. I don't look at us as being able to have a 20-minute period in the game where we can just nullify you and stop you. And that's the biggest weakness for me. So that's why when I look at the key battles, your attack versus our defense and vice versa, I think that's going to be fairly even. It's the midfield battle that's just, you're going to destroy us in midfield. And look, honestly, you're scoring 4 or 5 goals on Sunday. Easy.
Wow.
Well, this is
easy.
This is it though. Like, like I look at it subjectively. I don't think our midfield is where it can be because we've got key personnel which aren't firing. Naby Keita was pedestrian in the Champions League. Got hooked at half time. Milner was lucky that Naby was worse than him, that he didn't get hooked. Do you know what I mean? Hendo was lucky that Milner was worse than him, that he didn't get hooked. It could have been any one of those 3 that got removed at half time. Van Dijk, I don't think painted himself in glory. That was a big test for him. Griezmann, on 2 occasions, showed him a clean pair of heels. And I thought to myself, there's a chink in that armour. Do you know what I mean? And up against Rashford, Martial, CR7, and CR7 is Cristiano is no slouch. I know he's 36, 37s, but he's still super quick. And that just concerns me a little bit. Are we firing in the same way that we were in the 4-2 when we parked you guys off? Are we firing in that same way? I mean, Usman, where do you stand on all of this?
Yeah, I've obviously listened to Terry and what he said. I do agree with the both attacks will have shown this game. I know a lot of people saying it's going to be probably a score draw. It's going to be a tight game. I don't think both teams at the moment are coming themselves in much glory defensively, as you kind of alluded to with the Van Dijk. Obviously, Man United's defense is poor. I'm going to kind of go on record here. And I think if Rashford is fit, I don't know if he's fit because he had a dead leg. But if Rashford is fit, I think we win this game. Like, I genuinely believe it. The reason being is because after watching the Atletico Madrid game, I know this is going to be the biggest cop-out comment, but I just think Rashford, since he's come back, he's been a completely different player. His timing of his runs was my biggest criticism of last season. I'm sure Terry would agree with me, and other Man United fans would. He was constantly offside. He was basically Inzaghi last season. The guy was born offside. He was constantly not timing his runs. He was getting caught offside. But this season, I know he's only played 2 games. One was a cameo, and obviously this 60-minute game. But he's been absolutely sensational. Like, he's actually been the difference in both games for me personally. His movement in behind is stretching defenses, and you guys in particular love pushing the fullback forward. I don't think you can get away with it against us. And I know that's going to be a bit of a mad comment because I know Trent, is one of the best attacking right backs in the world currently. We understand that, but defensively, with the pace Rashford's got him behind, I don't think your midfielders are going to be able to cover. Because normally what happens is Trent pushes up, your midfielders, you know, they're the engine room, they come across and cover. But Rashford's too quick. I don't even think you'll have the opportunity to cover him, especially if Lindelof continues to find him. And he's been finding him consistently so far in the 90 minutes that he's played. And I think with the pace he's gotten behind, if you play a high line, if you mirror what you did against Atletico Madrid, we will win this game, because there's no way you can get away with playing a high line like that against Manchester United when we've got Rashford on the pitch, because he's just that good getting him behind. He's consistently making those runs. Lindelof and Rashford have got this link similar to what you used to see with Alderweireld and Kane or Son, and obviously with you guys with Van Dijk and Salah. They've got that. They know when that player's got the ball, make that run. And I think as long as the timing of his run is right, Trent is going to be caught lacking time and time again if he starts wandering too far. And this isn't a dig at Trent, because I looked at him at Man United before people get onto me. But for me personally, the key battle, without a shadow of a doubt, is actually on the left side of the pitch. Your right side, our left side. Salah against Shaw, Rashford against Trent for me. Rashford's already had him on toes previously at Old Trafford, and I think it could be 2.0 for me. It's just whether he's fit. I don't know if he's fit because he went off injured with the dead leg. So if he's fit, I think Rashford is going to be the key to United's success, if there is any in this game.
It's funny, really, with Rashford. Everyone knows what a fan I am of him. And one of my kind of reasons for wanting Ollie gone is because I feel sorry for Rashford. I feel sorry for Martial. I feel sorry for some of these players that I know are exceedingly talented, who are still delivering some of the best numbers. And numbers do matter for top-class players. You know, on the left, from a left inside forward, the last 2 seasons running, if you look at the big 4 leagues, I only count the big 4 leagues because we laugh at the others and call them farmers. So why am I going to take the stats from those leagues seriously? Only Son has got more goals and assists over the last 2 seasons combined than him, and Son's in his mid to late 20s. Rashford's outperformed everybody, and he's done it for an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer team. I sometimes look at Rashford and think, imagine him in Pep's side or on the left-hand side for Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. Without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, he'll break the 30-goal barrier with those kind of managers playing the football that he does. You know, his conversion rate isn't too bad. Like so far this season, around 33%. Last year, I think across all comps, it averaged about 20%, which is still really good. Scoring 1 in 5 shots is amazing. And he will be able to break that back line. That's why I think we'll score. I do agree. The only thing with his prediction is that I just don't see it keeping you out. I just can't. I don't know where. With Man United, I don't understand the defensive. We just don't have a defensive structure. Like people talk about patterns of play when we attack. We score enough goals. Like we score enough goals. We just can't keep enough goals out.
But when we beat them 3-2 in the cup, right? Obviously, I understand. You know, you beat us 4-2 as well. So it's it could go either way. We know that with this game, both teams have got quality going forward. But if you look at that 3-2 game that we beat them, most of our goals are on the counter, and I'm expecting it to be similar. Like Manchester United, we've got pace and abundance going forward, and you guys love to push the fullbacks forward. And I think that's gonna be your downfall this game. Obviously, I'm not saying that be a bit cautious in the manner which Robertson and Trent get up, because that is a big part of how you guys play. But for me personally, if you look at Greenwood's goal against Liverpool in the cup game, a ball from Rashford, literally a 50-yard diag, he's through 1-on-1. Rashford obviously scores in that game as well, and obviously Bruno gets a free kick. It was just literally one ball over the top for both the goals, bar the free kick. So for me, in the 2 games I've seen since Rashford's come back, we've played a lot of balls from deep, in particular Victor Lindelof. So from a coaching standpoint, if I was Klopp, I would be saying press Lindelof, make sure he ain't got any time on the ball, because he's basically playing a quarterback at the moment. And he's, to be fair to him, defensively he's not great, but on the ball he's been absolutely phenomenal, like in terms of finding Rashford consistently with quality. So for me, obviously Liverpool are going to come and probably score 2 goals. I'm not denying that. Obviously 1, 2, 3 goals. It could be any score, but I am confident with the Arsenal that we got going forward that we can cause them problems. They're coming off a very poor defensive performance against Atletico Madrid. I mean, that is a blueprint on how we can beat this Liverpool team as it currently sits. Obviously, Liverpool are a fantastic team. There's no denying that. But at the same time, Van Dijk's not fully fit. Obviously, it's going to take him time. I know he's hit the ground running and he's been fantastic. But you've seen with a bit of pace that Griezmann had he completely done him. Like it wasn't even like he done him with skill. It was just knocked the ball past him and beat him for pace. Obviously, Van Dijk was flat-footed, and as I already mentioned, Trent is going to be caught lacking. So for me, it depends on how Oli sets up. That the difference is going to be the managers. Obviously, we know who wins that battle. Sadly,
yeah. No, exactly. And just before we go any further, obviously, guys, in the chat, please make sure you do like, obviously, the like and subscribe to the channel first and foremost. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our content. I'm just going to go through a few things into the chat here. Chris has said, I honestly wouldn't be shocked if Manchester United turn up for this game. Remy, thanks for coming on. Our midfield will be up for the Man United match for sure. And 8092 Reds podcast. At the moment, I believe Virgil van Dijk will struggle against little strikers like Griezmann with quick feet, with others that are bigger and more physical. It plays in VVD's hands, exactly. So just what you touched upon there, Usman, I just want to come back there. Obviously, you mentioned about a few long balls, and you have to put things into context here because last season in the FA Cup, yes, you obviously did win 3-2, but we had Nat Phillips and Reece Williams, and all due respect to them, although they're doing a very good job covering for the likes of Matip, Van Dijk, Gomez, they're not them sort of players. So yes, obviously Van Dijk's not up to speed yet, but even a 3/4 fit Van Dijk is still going to cause problems, and still, I think, can still deal with the likes of Rashford. Greenwood, I think, is a very good player for you guys. He's so underrated. But I just wanted to put that out there. Let's just go on to the next thing here. Just wanted to touch upon. So Terry, just want to get your thoughts on the season so far for Manchester United. If you were to give a score out of 10, what score would you give Oli at the moment?
Oh, a 2.
Don't get me started.
do you know what it is for me? Like I'm someone that's I don't really get into this. There's a lot of United fans at a minute who is, when I challenge people's opinions, I often do it for a bit of a laugh and a joke, and it's meant to be fun. I find a lot of people are point scoring at the minute in terms of not maybe them personally, but their followers and stuff. It's like, oh, this person said that he should have been sacked 5 months ago. This guy said it the day he was employed. This guy said it 2 years ago. And I'm like, yeah, everyone had a different time period where they wanted him gone. And everybody had different reasons for wanting him to stay and go at different times. And I still stand by mine. I have no qualm with the reasons that I backed him. Forget the old uber excited moments where we knocked you guys out the cup and we won a couple of good games and you get a little bit giddy in match reviews and stuff. Like, everybody can be forgiven because I don't claim to be a professional pundit. I'm a football fan.
Yeah,
I've never felt that he was good enough to win us the major trophies, but I almost wanted us to get this squad under one manager into a point where it was good enough and ready to win, as in the personnel. And then you can really assess and judge the manager, mainly because we'd never allowed any other coach to basically complete their squad within reason. And there's always going to be a little hole here or there, and that's it. The expectations this year are massive because we have a squad that should be good enough to compete for the title, barring a top-class CDM. And I understand that's a big hole. We should still be the volume of teams from young boys to Wolves, who have outplayed us in games. That isn't because we don't have a world-class CDM. They're doing it with players that we wouldn't even think about buying as their holding midfielders. We saw Arsenal the other night outplayed by Palace. What one of our clubs wants to buy MacArthur or the other fella? That takes a free kicks, really well, penalties.
Milinkovic.
Yes, Milinkovic. Like, none of us wouldn't buy him, but yet they balled out at the Emirates against them as an example. And that's an Oli thing for me. And I've kind of always known that his system wasn't good enough. He has a system. Is it good enough? No. What I'm now seeing is a manager that is drowning under the expectations. And the only saving grace Oli has, and this is a positive thing for him, is the players do like and respect him as far as I'm concerned. You don't put a performance in like they did yesterday. Because at 2-0 down, they could have just stopped playing, conceded a third, and that would have pretty much been nail in the coffin. They are working for Oli, but that's only going to get him so far with this quality of player. The likes of Ronaldo coming fourth, not challenging for titles, and feeling like you've got no hope of winning them, they're not going to put up with that. They're going to be knocking on that boardroom door and saying, we love him, but he's got to go. And I almost feel like it's Like, it's just putting someone out of their misery. It's a little bit like having the family dog that everyone loves is just too old to get up and down the stairs now. And it's like, we love you. We're not doing it to be cruel. You're not horrible. I don't dislike Ollie in any way. I'm not someone who gets angry at his press conferences. I'm not somebody that I don't even get triggered when he smiles or sticks his tongue out when we're losing on the sidelines. I'm just not bothered by those things, because that isn't what makes him a good or a bad manager. It's about his competence at the very highest level to make a team have a system and an intensity to win football matches, and he doesn't quite have it. What I like about Ollie is that he tries his hardest. It hasn't become toxic. He doesn't throw his players under the bus, and he's given it his all. And I am a person in life who, your application in some regards matters more than your delivery to a point. And then you get to a stage where it's like, okay, you've taken us as far as you can. We need to move you on. And that's how I've operated in my professional life with my subordinates and people that I've employed. It's like, okay, if you get where I'm coming from. And I just sort of feel now like I'm giving him a 2 because the expectations are so high. I don't care if we finish 4th. I don't care if we finish 3rd. I don't care if we finish 2nd. We're not in a title race. As a bare minimum, this season's a failure. And right now, we're nowhere near a title race. So for me, 2 out of 10.
Wow.
Scathing. Yeah. I just wanted to come back to Usman because he did bring up a good point just off air, actually. So just want to get your thoughts on it. So Usman, when Liverpool win 1892, Rob Red's podcast has said, does Ollie go?
I mean, as he said off air, for me personally, he should go. I mean, I'm kind of under the impression that if he loves the club as much as he thinks, he should accept that he's not good enough. Like, if you lose to Liverpool with 8 points off first, and it's October. I mean, we've already lost. We're already out of the title race come October, unless we go on an insane run, which we haven't seen under Ollie's tenure. So for me personally, what is the point of this rebuild? The whole point of this rebuild was to get Manchester United back to where us fans think we belong, which is at the top table. Every single fan, even Ollie ins, Ollie outs, everyone that I've spoken to has said the same thing. Some people have said we should win the title. Some people have said we should at least be challenging for the title as a minimum. So the bar is set as a minimum a title challenge. For me, sat 8 points in October suggests that we're not in the title race. But that means if we lose to Man City or Spurs the following weeks, we could quite easily be 14 points. So if he loses to Liverpool, he has to go. The damage is done. We're lucky that we beat, Atlanta yesterday or the day before. And, we salvaged the Champions League potentially. If you lost that game as well, hypothetically speaking, and then lost this one, then it would 110% be curtains. But I've just got a feeling of the fact that he's won that game. Some people still have that glimmer of hope. Give him time. He's got a chance to turn it around. It's still early in the season. It's 9-10 games in, etc. We're top of the champ. I can guarantee the first line that will come out is we're top of the Champions League group. You guys are so ungrateful. I mean, people can't foresee the future in terms of Ollie isn't taking us anywhere. It's quite clear he's hit his ceiling. He's nowhere near as good as Tuchel, obviously Klopp, Pep, and that's his competition to be competing. So long answer short, he should be going. He should have went ages ago for me personally. But if we lose to Liverpool, as I said off air, it's interesting to see how the crowd react, because the crowd booed at halftime, which did actually surprise me. Of course, they have the right to boo, they're frustrated at the ground, etc. But it did surprise me because every time I've been to a game this season, the general consensus is Ollie's at the wheel. That's all I hear singing. And I'm a bit surprised that they kind of somewhat turned on him to an extent, not fully, but obviously the show that dissatisfaction after at half time. So if we lose to Liverpool at Old Trafford, given the circumstances of how the season's gone, I'd be intrigued to see how the fans react. If the fans start booing him, then for me the writing's already on the wall, and that would be the final nail in the coffin for me.
Okay, fair enough. I'll come to you, TF, because I know Usman did bring up another great question. Obviously, with you being a Liverpool fan, I'm a Liverpool fan. Would you take a loss just to keep Ollie in his job?
Hell yes. I'm joking. Look, let's be very, very clear. Sunday is a must-win game. It's a must-win. Chelsea go to Norwich in the early kickoff on Saturday. We're foreseeing a bloodbath, and for Norwich to get decimated. Obviously, potentially no Lukaku. potentially, Werner, but Chelsea, for me, on paper, arguably have the best squad in the Premier League, so should go there and do the business. Yeah, it's then over to Liverpool to respond, to stay in the title race. If we don't take all 3 points at United, there's a gap there, and we can't afford not to keep pace with Chelsea and let them even get a march on the league title, because, like Terry alluded, defensively they're sound. They're very, very sound defensively. So they could be capable of doing what Manchester City have done in recent years, on going on these crazy runs of 5, 6, 10, 14 games without dropping any points. That is a real concern. I just think we go there, we send a real statement. I want shockwaves through the Premier League. Yeah. That's what I want. I want a dominant, and that doesn't have to be loads of goals. A dominant performance doesn't always mean big scorelines. A dominant performance means control of the midfield battle, possession, taking your chances. If we get 4 or 5 chances, I want 3 goals. Do you know what I mean? Clinical football. If we only get 3 chances, I want a 1-0 victory. Clinical football. Do you know what I mean? And that's my expectation of Sunday.
Do you know, you put on a really interesting thing there about the Chelsea thing. I was just looking while you were speaking. Between now and Boxing Day, so 2 months, I think there's something like 10 to 11, about 12 games. Yeah. Only twice in that period do Liverpool kick off before Chelsea. Chelsea on 8 occasions kick off before you, and the you kick off, and the other 2 times is at the same, pretty much 3 times is about the same time. So legitimately, Chelsea have got this kind of advantage over you right now, where they're in front of you with points, but they invariably, I think on about 80-90% of the next games up until Boxing Day, they kick off before you do. And it does. Yeah, if they're winning these games, of course, and you go into that, and these are the little things that could play into Man United's hands. So I don't see it happening, but they could. If Chelsea win, if we look at this weekend as an example, I'm just sort of going back to it now. If Chelsea pick up that win as an example, City win the 5:30 game. No one else is really in the race right now. Leicester and Spurs all win. Then there's pressure on everybody, both Man United and on Liverpool. But that's where these games become really kind of difficult. What I feel like is going to happen for Man United, though, is Ole going to leave? If you batter us and embarrass us 4-5-0, we could. But I get a feeling that some of the chasing pack for this top 4 position, quite a few are going to drop points as well this weekend. That's where Ole's judge comes in sometimes. He loses games. You're like, we're going to fall too far away from the top 4 race, or people are going to catch us. And then 3 other teams lose, and it's like he gets away with it. And there's an element of frustration in that for me, where it's like, we are doing it on merit because we are better than the other teams. But I want to be better than the other teams by barnstorming them. And we spend the money to be doing that, so we should be doing it. But Liverpool this week, that's where the pressure comes in, especially if Chelsea win and City win. It's going to be interesting to see what your response to that is.
And you make some really good points in there, Terry, about barnstorming teams, emphatic performances, them shell-shocking shockwave kind of games which send ripples through the rest of the league. This fixture is set up to do that. This is what Manchester United versus Liverpool is about. It creates shockwaves. And if you look, okay, let's play devil's advocate, because Liverpool almost have an expectation to go there and win that game. Everyone's expecting United to lose. That's where everybody's expecting. Even Manchester United fans, other than Usman, are expecting United to lose this game. So let's turn on its head. Let's say that United win that. That could absolutely catapult Liverpool's season into a downward spiral just on one result, because the confidence that comes from, the knocking confidence which could come from losing that game, Chelsea winning, all of a sudden we've lost, Chelsea have won, City have won. Oh shit, we're now in a bit of a situation here, and we've been nicknamed these mentality monsters before. then all that starts to come out in the media. Oh, the mentality monsters aren't there, and and this and that, and so on and so forth. This can be nothing but 3 points, nip and tuck, Shockwave, win this game. It can be nothing but that, and that is what I'm expecting from my team.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I think Southern Scouts says it there, like 1 point behind or 7. And the same for Man United. You know, we're currently off the top, and that's what I'm looking at. I'm not even thinking about. I look at it this way: if you're focusing on the top and catching the person on the top, you suddenly look around yourself halfway through the season and be 10 points clear in a top 4 position. That's how you should be focusing. Like, we win, and we maintain. If Chelsea win, we maintain that 5 points. If we don't, it's 8 points. You know, 8 points away, and it's for me. And I look at it this way: it means we're 8 points away from Chelsea at the top. We'll be 7 points away from you in second, and we'll probably be 6 points then away from City. Already, I look at it like this: the titles race is over, and I agree with us because one of those teams could collapse. One of those teams could go on a bad run, and we could catch them. But all three, nah.
It's not happening.
It's not happening. It's legitimately, we lose this week. It's already over because Ollie's our manager. But if we lose this weekend, it's the title. Any title dreams we have are absolutely finished because Liverpool, City, and Chelsea collectively are not giving up between a 6 to 8 point gap. All of them doing that against. If they did, then Ollie deserves a statue. All those 3 managers at your club deserve sacking because if any of you get legit. If there's anything between a 6 to 8 point gap this early against an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer team and Jurgen Klopp or Pep throws that away, they deserve to be sacked. That's a sackable offense. Honestly, bro, that's a sackable offense.
Bro, you know I'm clipping this, right? This is getting clipped.
Oh, listen, I'm so serious about it. If Man United, we'll focus it on Chelsea.
Yeah.
If Chelsea are top of the league by 8 points over Man United by the end of this weekend, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer catches Tuchel in that position, Tuchel deserves sacking because it's the ultimate embarrassment. How can you throw away? And by the way, and if we finish 1, 2, 3 points in front of you, that's like a 10, 12 point swing against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And this is the thing with rival fans. Rival fans laugh at Ollie, and I get why. A lot of us don't want him there anymore. But you can't laugh at a manager and call him a PE teacher and then play down the embarrassment of him catching you. Because
I hear you.
Like those two things don't work at the same time, and that's how damning our situation is. If we lose this weekend, I don't want to think about it. It's making me depressed.
Just before we go into the predictions, obviously coming across the bottom there, we've got 475 subscribers, I believe. So obviously anyone that's new in the chat, first and foremost, please do like and subscribe to the channel. Like I said, click the notification bell and you will not miss any of this great content. I'm just going to touch upon now the predictions. I just want to get everyone's predictions for this coming Sunday. So, Usman, I'll go with you first. So what score are you going for in this massive, massive battle?
Yeah, look, obviously, everyone who's got any common sense is going to predict a Liverpool win, and I understand that. But for me personally, right, I've just looked at this manager for 3 years, and this guy never ceases to amaze me. Every time his back's against the wall, he somehow just finds a way. Even at halftime, we're 2-0 down. Myself and a lot of other United fans I've spoken to, we're saying, Man United will win this 3-2. We'll win this 3-2. You could just sense it. If we scored the next goal, we knew we were going to win that game. It was just a typical Man United thing. And for me, I just feel like this is going to be one of those games. Don't get me wrong, I might have egg on my face. Liverpool might slap us for a while, but I can't sit here and predict Man United to lose at Old Trafford. I won't do it. So Manchester United 2, Liverpool 1. Marcus Rashford, man of the match.
And I'll come to you next in a moment, TF, because me and TF knows very well when we do our Fab Four show, we always do predictions, and me and SS, the Southern Scouts, generally go the same. And he's gone 2-1, and that's actually what I've got written down here, 2-1. And I know TF's going to shake his head and say, I knew he was going to say stuff like that, saying we've been on the blower when we haven't. It's just obviously great minds think alike. I'm going to go 2-1, but TF, what score are you going to go for, mate?
I don't know. I don't know. It could be anything. We could like you're saying, we could lose it 2-1. You know, Rashford could pop up and score, and Ronaldo could grab one and be 2-1. I think we will score, like Terry said. I don't think that they'll be able to keep us at bay unless De Gea is having a worldie of a game, and he plays some decent football right now. I think Terry, I was watching one of your shows when you were saying like it's embarrassing that De Gea is back to being our best player on one of your shows that you were doing, and if the David De Gea we know turns up, we could be in for a frustrating afternoon. You could do everything correct to pepper their goal, and somehow he will come out with an incredible save, or he'll save it with his feet, or he'll do something. But I think that I'm gonna back my team, and I'm gonna go 3-1 for Liverpool.
If it's 3-1 and Ali hasn't been sacked, I swear to God I'm gonna lose it.
I'm going 3-1.
If he's not sacked on Monday.
Yeah.
3-1 Liverpool, and I'm also going to predict goal scorers as well.
Yeah.
I think Mo Salah grabs a hattie. I think he bags a hattie.
My God. On that note, James, I need to go because my show starts in
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Listen, thank you for having me, bro. Honestly,
thanks for coming through, bro.
No
Make
problem.
sure you guys slap a like and subscribe to the channel. Get up to 500 people. Show some love, man. Opposite real ones. But thank you for having me. No food will collab very soon.
Thank you for that.
In particular, my night win, I'll be giving you a call. Don't worry about that. Catch you guys in the next one, man. God bless.
Appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
Cheers. Terry, we'll come to you. What prediction are you going to go for on Sunday?
5-2 Liverpool.
5-2.
Wow, that's wild.
I think it's gonna. I mean, it's only one more goal in last year's game, and we're in worse form, and you're firing. I honestly feel like you're gonna. In a lot of our games this year, even last night against Atalanta, we could have scored 7 or 8, but they could have scored 5 or 6. That's just how our games have been. But we're going up against Liverpool now, and your front three are on fire. What I will say is this, though: if Mo Salah scores a hat trick, he breaks his own record of scoring in 10 consecutive games rather than 9. No Liverpool player in the history has ever done that before. I just need Liverpool fans to start confirming what we all know you all believe in your hearts. You're just too scared to say it because, especially you Wolves are not from Liverpool. What you're all scared of is I know what's happening in Liverpool fan base, and I know there'll be some born and bred Scousers chuckling when they hear this. The non-Scousers are waiting for the Scousers to say Mo Salah's our greatest ever Premier League player. They're waiting. You lot are waiting for permission to say what you all believe, and that is that Mo Salah is. And do you know why? Do you know why I think he is? It isn't just the records and the goals and the trophies that he's won.
Yeah.
Every football fan and every football person worth their salt said it once in their life and believed it. Scoring goals is the hardest thing to do in football. It is the hardest skill to have. So you've got a player that is tracking to outperform on goals and assists Thierry Henry in the same amount of games. You've got a man who's shot his way to you winning Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues, which no one else in the Premier League era has done. He owns umpteen goal records that are possible after 4 and a bit 5 years, whatever it may be. And he's breaking like club records all the time, the speed of which he got to 100 goals. But he's doing it by scoring, which is the hardest. So when you look at him as a footballer, he's breaking records and knocking down barriers by doing the hardest thing on the football pitch, which is scoring goals. And if you're the greatest ever goal scorer that Liverpool have had in the Premier League, you are their greatest ever player because it's the hardest thing to do. Like the logic that we all pushed, and that's why I rate it so much. Goal scoring, that's why they get paid the most. That's why they cost the most. If they weren't the best players on the pitch and it was midfielders or it was fullbacks or it was goalkeepers, they would be the most expensive. They're not. Goal scorers are. So therefore, if you've got the best goal scorer in the world, the man, if his form would have kicked on earlier than it has, he'd be up for the Ballon d'Or. And I almost want him to do. I don't want this to happen because it means Liverpool are doing well. But I almost want him to win a Ballon d'Or because then I don't see how you can. I don't see how you can deny it then. And I know you all know in your heart of hearts, Mo Salah is your greatest ever Premier League player. You don't love him the most, but he's your greatest player.
this is the problem, right? And you know, guys, if you're in the comments, make sure you check out our King of the Cop show that we've done. It was all about Mohamed Salah and this very, very topic. The challenge that we've got as Liverpool fans is we've had so many greats. We've had so many. The list, and this isn't in disrespect to any other clubs out there, but we've had greats spanning multiple decades, multiple eras. We've had greats spanning years of dominance. We've had greats spanning barren years. And that is always a challenge for us as Liverpool fans. We are a very historical club, and we look back and we nod to history every single time. Same as Manchester United do. We are staple clubs in English history. And as I said before, before you came on, without us, there's no Premier League. Yeah, without Liverpool and Manchester United, we are staple clubs. So when I think about the brilliance, and I didn't witness these players playing, but as being a devout fan, I watch this stuff. I look for this stuff. When I witnessed and I look at the brilliance of Kenny Dalglish, I look at the brilliance of Steven Gerrard. I think about the brilliance of, you know, the list goes on. Yeah, we've got a back catalogue of top players, and those players have an undeniable connection with the supporters. It's very difficult for Liverpool fans to distance themselves away from that. And the one man which tops those players or that is Steven Gerrard for Liverpool fans, because he's one of their own.
Yes,
he's one of their own.
Yes,
and that's the issue. How do you disconnect?
No, and you can't, and that's why I understand it, because there is love, but that's why you need to be objective with it and not subjective. Because I totally get you're never gonna get. Like, they love these players out there, their children in that regard. Yeah. And, you know, they're never going to love any other player more. If you're a born and bred Scouser, it's why Mo Salah's only just now getting like in your years of the year winning the Champions League and the Premier League, like Trent was one of the standout stars because he's born and bred. I do truly believe if Trent was from London, he'd still be loved. But it's not the same affinity. He is a Scouse lad. He's from those streets. And I totally get it for the born and bred Scousers. I couldn't agree with you more. I also narrow it down to Premier League era, because I also do this with Man United. I try not to cross the eras, because it's just too difficult when you've got players from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 90s, noughties that are greats. It's very hard to do it. But I just sort of look at it and think to myself, if Gerrard wasn't a Scouser, so if you take away where he was born, I think people would say Mo Salah is better. So therefore, you're not basing it on anything that's footballing. You're basing it on emotion. And it depends on how you value greatness. It depends on how you value greatness. Is it based on emotion and social connection? Or is it based on what you deliver on the football pitch? And I tend to be more of an eye test is important, but an outputs person in terms of what does someone deliver. And what Mo Salah's doing, and what I think he's going to end up doing at Liverpool, is delivering the most important thing, which is even more silverware. I still think he's going to win another Premier League or two in a Liverpool shirt. And I think when he does, so I almost feel like he's going to be known as your greatest ever Premier League player, but it's just nobody's ready to say it yet, because he has to almost prove it. Does that make sense? But for me, I can say it without any worry, because I don't love Gerrard like that. So it's almost like I'm not, you know, like people are blinded by it. They listen to their kids sing. Their kid can't sing. Like, oh, it's beautiful because it's their kid. Like some people look at some people have ugly children, but they think their kids are beautiful. But no, your kid ain't. Like, and I'm not saying Gerrard was a bad player. We know how amazing he was. But I just look at Mohamed Salah, and I kind of like teasing Liverpool fans a little bit with it. I was at the Football Content Awards, and I wound a few boys up there, and they were like, "Can you stop saying that?" I'm like, "Because you know it's true." And it's like, just shush, just stop saying it on camera. And I'm like, well,
this is the thing, right? You make such a good point, and it's funny because Liverpool, like you said, we're an emotionally connected club. Liverpool is like, it's passed down through generations of your family. Yeah, if your dad's a Liverpool fan, you're a Liverpool fan. My kids are Liverpool fans. They are huge Liverpool fans. And when I talk to my children, certainly my eldest, who do you feel is your best player? And they only know Premier League era. My eldest will go Gerrard. my middle one, because my eldest is 10, turn 11 in June. Oh, sorry, in January, sorry. So he knows a little bit about the Gerrard era in terms of witnessing it in some ways, yeah?
Yeah.
And previous games and watching me, whatever not. My middle one is Mo Salah, because he's 7. That's all he knows. Mo Salah.
And that is the thing. Generation becomes a real big thing, and
yeah, definitely.
I totally get it, and I'm not even trying to like put Gerrard down. I'm actually just rating someone that I think is an exceptional player that doesn't kind of
100%.
doesn't get as much love as I think he kind of deserves in relation to that. But as you say, the era thing plays a part, and it's such an interesting conversation to see it unfold, really. But look, Gerrard will always be loved in a particular way by certain Liverpool fans forever in the day, no matter what he did. Plus, he was also a player in a really difficult era. The one thing with Liverpool fans that I'm not so much jealous of, but I think is brilliant that you have as a football club, is it doesn't matter whether what your cultural background is if you live in Liverpool. So you could be from a plethora of different, or sort of roots, could be from different parts of the world. Doesn't matter if you're born in London, born in anywhere in England, born in France, born in Nigeria, born in America. Every Liverpool fan around the world that I've met, barring a handful, follow the Scouse code. How we behave, how we talk, what we do and don't say about our players in club, what type of players we rate, what type of attributes and attitudes. Man United don't have that. And what I mean by that is when I moved to Manchester, I was always a United fan, but I just learned from locals what they said they valued in players, the things you do and you don't do. Little things like you don't wear football shirts to away games is something we don't do. Just little quirky things like that. I used to put my name on players' names on the back of the shirt. I got this look. No, that's what tourists do. Man United fans will wear the shirt, but we won't put a name on the back. It was little things like that, right down to Gerrard and Tevez were always loved and adored because of their work rate, tenacity, how they run. Berbatov style players weren't looked at in that way. The only player who kind of broke the mold in that is always an exception to the rule was Eric Cantona, which is why a Bruno is liked by the Man United faithful more than a Pogba, because the way Bruno's attitude is on the pitch, that directness, it resonates. The way Rashford is direct, it resonates. That's something they like. And I kind of say this to a few people that when I lived in Manchester, that's what I was taught. And I adopted, my view was I should support this club in the local custom because it's from that local community. Yeah. So it's a little, my expression is, I don't think we should be jerking Manchester United rice. Do you know what I'm saying? Right? Liverpool Football Club is half of that city's culture. Like people say, like what? Tell me one thing that's English culture. Football is. These clubs are built by their local working class communities. They've now become national and international global brands. But I still think my belief is you can support Man United or Liverpool wherever you are from in the world. You can, but you should support it. You should support Liverpool the Scouse way. You should support Manchester United the Manchester way. You should support Arsenal that part of North London's Arsenal way. I believe you should support it in the way in which the club has been built to support it. I think and that's just my belief. By the way, people are free to not do that. They can do whatever the hell they want. I don't ever go at them. But that's what I see. That's why I see our fan bases more divided, because you'll get 5 Man United fans from 5 different parts, even in the UK, from 5 different upbringings that are like, no, this is how I want my players to play, and this is how I want it. And someone will say, but that isn't the United way. That's all nonsense. That don't exist. No, it does exist. It's local culture. And I'm someone that tries my best to not like, well, that's how they do it there, so that's how we should do it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to do it the proper way, not the like. If I learn to make sushi, I'm going to make it the way that sushi is meant to be made. I'm not going to go, I'm going to make it with a rolling pin instead. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how you make sushi. I just let's do it the right way. But that's what I like about Liverpool. You have it, Newcastle have it, out of my own, like as in the bigger clubs, where it's done your way and no one else's. And if you want to support us from outside of this town, you do it our way or not at all. And I like that. I really like it.
Yeah, I agree. It's a staple part of being a Liverpool fan. There is a way in which to support the club. There's a brand of football. There's an unwritten code somewhat for being a supporter. And the key thing is, like, any guys in the chat, and guys, you tell me if I'm wrong. You have an emotional connection with the club. It's different. Like when I go to Anfield and I'm there on a game day and I walk in, there's like a deep breath and it's just like, wow. Do you know what I mean? And when You Never Walk Alone's played, and it is just like, wow. I support this club. Fucking hell, this is huge.
Mate, I hear you. When I got my season ticket in the Stretford End, I must have been about 18, 19 years old. Loved it. And I came in, I sat down, and I'm not going to do the accents. I'm terrible at accents, but he was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I was my seat." He said, "Yeah, in this stand we don't." He said, "Are you healthy?" I went, "Yeah." He went, "No one sits down in this stand, lad. Like up you get." And that was it. Every day for the next however many years I had that season ticket, up until like maybe 3 years ago when I gave it up because of the Glazer stuff. I stood up, come rain, shine, winning, losing. I stood up because that was the tradition in that part. And I think things like that are important, you know. And it's hard because none of this stuff is. But the way Liverpool do it is different. Like you guys do it to such a degree, and I like teasing and winding people up on my show with it. But it's like, you know, I know you guys are desperate for a signing, and I see the tweets from people. No, the club knows what it's doing. We don't need. Like you can see, I call it communist Merseyside because it's like. A message gets put out by a very respected Liverpool fan or journalist, and then you all just toe the party line. And then you get these occasional Liverpool fans like Sonny who just go, "I'm doing what I want," and they're just rejected. They're like the runt of the litter. They're rejected. It's crazy. But listen, it's that comment there says the problem is that football is no longer local; it's international. Everything evolves, of course, and it is international. Yeah. But my point is, Liverpool fans that I speak to, born and bred in India. Generally have the same mentality towards their club as someone from Liverpool, and I'm like, that's amazing.
It's funny you touched on the Sonny thing because that done shockwaves. Like you saw my reaction. I'm like, whoa, fall in line, bro. Like fall in line.
But the thing was, and what is mad about it is, lots of Liverpool fans were outraged. And it's because internationally you have a code, and he broke the code. None of the other big teams have that code. If he said all those things he's done, if he was a Chelsea, United, Spurs, Arsenal fan, no one would care. They wouldn't even. It's because he did it. He did it about Liverpool, and it was like. It's just like it was. He went against the grain, and everybody was like, "You ever seen Inception?" When your dream knows it's dreaming and they will look at you. It was like that moment. They were like, who's this imposter?
That was wild. No, that was wild.
Exactly.
Because, like I said, I commented, and to be fair, a lot of what is referred to as top Reds, a lot of top Reds commented on that. And being in and around that and talking to some of those guys on personal levels and so on and so forth. Dude, if I could ever show you some of the WhatsApp conversations, we were like, what in the fuck is this guy doing? Like, what is that? Like, do you know what I mean? How do we stop this? What do we do?
Yeah. Do you know mate, do you know what's crazy about it as well? I had a lot reach out to me and they were like, why would you let people like, is he an actor? Is he this? And I was like, I felt like the reaction was...
I messaged
like,
you.
I feel like a lot of people went over the top. However, I do understand in the sense of things people were saying to me, not so people were like, think of your brand. I'm like, bruv, my channel's brand is letting fans phone in and say what they want. As in, I don't vet you. We don't have a person going, right, what are you going to say? That's not going to go down well. So no, you can't come on. Like that isn't the point of the terrace. It's meant to be like, I see a lot of channels that say things like we're uncensored. I'm like, you're not uncensored though, because you won't say what you really think. That's the point. That's kind of it. And Sonny's an interesting one. Like, I've said to him a few times, I'm like, don't say that. It doesn't bother me and my channel because I couldn't care less if some Liverpool fan or United fan is like, I've got one guy, nice enough guy, we've chatted. He's like, I can't ever come on your channel because of certain people you have on there. And I'm like who? And he mentioned them and he goes, I just can't like be on screen with people like that. I said, the thing is, mate, I said that most of the time I'd send links to like either loads of people at once or we share the link and I just wait and see who comes through. I don't know who's coming on most shows. It isn't really planned. And I'm like, it's like a phone-in show to a degree. I just need to like get the links out to people. And he's like, I just can't be on there with those kind of individuals. I also think that's a little bit sad because for me, growing up in London around football, you'd have a classroom with 30 kids. And I went to an all-boys school, so 30 lads. And you might have had 12, 13 different football teams supported. and football conversation was just you all chatting about football together. And you'd have an Arsenal fan saying outrageous about Man United that the 3 United fans disagreed with, but then the Liverpool fans would back Arsenal for a minute, and then they'd all team up against United, and then somebody would say something bad about Liverpool and would all team up on them. And that's almost what naturally has happened with the Football Terrace channel. But that's what watching football in London was like, because everyone supported everybody. And it is what it is. Like I like Sonny. He's a nice guy. His takes are mad. They are mad. Wow. But then most of them are really positive towards Liverpool. That's the only one he's ever done that isn't like this guy was talking about Nate Phillips being in the England squad and stuff. Like, you know, he was a guy last year that was calling Mo Salah the best attacker in the world before any other Liverpool fan was saying it. Like, so there are some things he said that are like really good, but then the whole clock went down in my estimations. Crazy boy.
Crazy. But no, obviously that brings us around the hour mark, so we'll close it there. Yeah, definitely. But we've got normally at the end of the show, Terry, we normally just say what's coming up on the channel. We're doing the Fab Four preview this Saturday, 9 p.m. Is that right, TF?
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, and then I'm not too sure what's on next week, but obviously it'll be the Rivals point of view for I think it's the game against Brighton, which will be next Thursday. But Terry, really do appreciate you coming on, mate. Thank you very much for that. TF, again, thanks for coming on. Guys, obviously in the chat, we are on our way to 500 subscribers. So if you are new in the chat, please go over and like and subscribe to our channel. We are up and coming. We've only been going, was it since May or June on our own channel, TF?
Yeah, man. It's been early days, and progress has been good. And obviously we thank guys like Terry for the support.
Yeah, definitely.
Much appreciated from you guys over the Terrace as well. I'm always willing to come on shows and have us on and invite us on. And guys, obviously in the comments as well, make sure you like and subscribe, and also to the Football Terrace. They've got content for everybody. It's not just Man United based content. It is content from everyone. Real opinions, real views. If you want outrageous takes from guys like Sonny, head over there as well. If you want rants from Terry on United,
we've got a bit of it all. It's a bit of it all. It's just
definitely,
as I said, it's just normal fans talking, really. And some are great, some are shocking, some are really boring. Sometimes I'm looking at the camera and I'm like, just look like you're interested. Thank you very much. I can't help it. You got to but I don't want to be disrespectful because they're so lovely to me. So yeah.
No, exactly.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure for us as the Red Sea Podcast, as I said, being involved as well, because you always invite us down, you always shout us out where you can and whatever not. So that support is appreciated, and SS corrects us.
Since August,
he's the guy, he knows, isn't it? Since August,
since August. So just a couple of months in and nearly 500 subscribers, but yeah.
Good,
Terry,
you just got that's all. This whole game is a battle of attrition. You have up weeks, down weeks. Some weeks you think, all right, it's gonna kick on from here, and then it goes backwards. And we have it. Do you know what I mean? So some weeks our shows do this, and then the next day it's like, have I done half the views this time? What have I done wrong? You just gotta keep going and plugging away, mate. That's all. Well done, boys.
Definitely. But,
appreciate it, mate.
Yeah, definitely. So guys, again, thanks for everyone in the chat. We'll leave it there, but hope everyone's enjoyed, obviously, tonight's Rivals point of view, and obviously until next time, stay safe, and thanks everyone again. Cheers.
Ollie out.